Hi, Vaibhav. I'm with Vaibhav Mohite. He's the winner of the national competition which happened for the India Design Mark. Yeah. So I'm going to talk to him and ask him some questions. Okay, Vaibhav, tell me about yourself. What do you do?
I am basically
Louder.
I'm basically an architect, and I've done my master's in industrial design with specialization in toy and game design from INDI.
From?
NID, National Institute of Design. And I'm right now working with INDI Design as a senior designer, working on retail spaces as an architect.
Okay. So you're not a graphic designer?
I am actually. I love graphic designing, but somehow I was not able to pursue it myself.
Okay. So when were you at NID? When did you get into this thing of design?
It was in 2003 actually. I applied for the NID entrance exam and somehow luckily got through in the first chance itself.
Okay.
And I was there from 2003 to 2005.
Okay. That's good. And since when are you working with INDI Design?
Almost some 7-8 months now.
Okay. Fine. Let's talk about the winning entry. Okay. So first is if you can just explain us what this entry is, then I'll ask you more questions. So what is this? It looks like a snake. What is it?
Okay. It's not basically a snake actually. It can be called as a squiggly shape, and it's more to do with it's combined from an English letters I and M to actually form a Devanagari E, which is from E from India. And the red dot on the top resembles a bindi, or actually a tika, which gives a very Indianized look. And the squiggle shape makes the logo memorable, and it helps in standing out, making its own mark. And the good factor about this particular logo design is its scalability. Like it can be as small as 3 mm, so that it can be printed on jewelry as well, or maybe it can be as big as possible, so that it can be printed or applied on industrial furnaces as well.
See, most of these ideas that it looks like this and this is the idea and all is actually filled in later, right?
Okay. Yes.
So I want to ask you, what was the idea before before this entry won? Before you
actually, my idea was to make it more like Indian, because when we think of anything Indian, we think of many articulate things and very ornamental stuff, flowers and very, those lines. So I was very clear in my mind when I started working on that since this is an I mark, I should better play with I and M somehow and make it more bold as such, bold yet beautiful and very simple looking. And moreover, I wanted to have a global appeal without losing its Indianness. So that's why I actually went for the I and M combining together to form an E or in calligraphy, using calligraphy.
Okay. So what was your reaction when you heard that your entry is the selected entry?
To be very frank, I'm not expecting it. And I was a bit surprised. I then felt ecstatic for sure.
You have seen the other entries which are there on the Facebook now, on the India Design Council Facebook page.
Yes.
So what do you think? If this was not the entry you had made, which entry do you think would have got the...
there was one entry, I don't know, there's a square and with GDI is written with the red building, red bindi or the red dots, slightly moving out of that particular square and slightly inside. It somehow was quite interesting for me. It would have made a mark.
Okay. Anything you would have liked to do differently? I mean, at that moment, once it's won, this is the logo which is going to be there now. As the symbol of good design in India. And after you won, do you think that I wish I would have done this or I should have done this, or you think
this is the basic shape?
Yeah, in the
actually no, because that is what the first thing which came to my mind, and I just explored and I just worked with the shapes.
How many entries did you send?
2.
You said 2 entries.
Yeah.
And was the other one also shortlisted or not?
No, not in the final one.
Okay. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And very good to hear that it's entry from INDI Design.
Okay.
Anything else you want to say?
Nothing else.
Nothing
it's
else.
all covered, yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah. Clap.